Listen, being an online entrepreneur requires so much of your time and energy just in running your business alone. If we add an extra layer of creating content, sometimes it can feel like a lot of pressure to keep coming up with new content ideas. I know this because I've gone through it myself, and you've told me over and over again that creating fresh ideas that don't bore your audience and don't feel like you're constantly running through the same topics can be a challenge. So in today's episode, I'm going to show you 3 simple tricks that you can use right now so you never ever run out of fresh content ideas again. Hey, if we're meeting for the first time, welcome to the channel. I'm Kim Jimenez, your digital marketing strategist. And in this channel, we share business and marketing strategies to help you up-level your online business game. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely consider subscribing. I decided to create this video in 2 different sections, right? Part 1, we're going to talk about creating and coming up with awesome content ideas. And then in part 2, I'm going to show you even more tricks to make sure that you're validating those content ideas and you're never running out of them. So we're gonna get started with the 3 core elements. And these come out of the notion, right, that there's all this pressure sometimes to just keep coming up with new content ideas, keep pumping out that amazing content to spread the word about your business. And listen, I coach and train hundreds of entrepreneurs every single month inside the Business Lounge, and I can tell you for a fact that burnout is real when it comes to content creation. I really want you to avoid feeling like creating this content is this overwhelming task. It's like this thing that you start resenting, and instead turn it into an activity that you absolutely enjoy, that you love, and is service focused. Which brings me to our first trick, and that is believing that content ideas are truly endless. So think about this for a second, right? Let's think about your favorite magazine, for example. I happen to love Home and Garden, and I know that this publication has been around for years and years and years. Every single month they come out with a new issue, and they never seem to run out of ideas when it comes to home and garden and making your space a beautiful place to live in. So there's so many examples of content everywhere we go, right? From the media to radio stations to probably your favorite TV shows. So believing that your content ideas are truly endless is the first important key. Wayne Dyer said it best when he said that abundance is not something that we acquire, it's something that we tune into. So what this means is that abundance is a mindset. It's this ideology that you subscribe to when you truly believe that abundance is everywhere. And this mindset is something you should be applying in every aspect of your life and in your business. It's this whole idea that there's more where that came from, a la Dolly Parton. 'Cause there's more where that came from. There's more where that came from. Tip number 2 is to get inspired on purpose. And this is something that I trained myself to do early on when I was helping my husband market his first startup. And so there's this entire world out there full of content, full of cues that can spark your amazing creativity. From the songs you listen to the books you read, the magazines you subscribe to, or just everyday activities, it's so important to keep your ears and your eyes peeled for any type of situation that can spark a new content idea. So I'll give you an example. My husband and I were doing grocery shopping in Atlanta, and he nudged me and he was like, "Do you see who that is?" And I was like, "Wait, what are you talking about?" So once I looked a little bit further, I realized that we were literally in line behind Chris Hemsworth's wife. Now, this was around the time that Avengers was being filmed in Atlanta, and it was very evident that this was Esa Pataki. I was like, what the heck? I can't believe she's here. And so she was totally, dressed in normal clothes. She was talking to who I think was her mom-in-law in Spanish. And I was just listening to the conversation. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know she was Spanish. She had her little kiddos with her. And immediately I remember thinking, wow, What a cool situation, right? I know that they don't live in the US. They definitely don't live in Atlanta. And what a cool thing to be able to have a support group, right? Of people who are cheering you on and are allowing you to be successful. So her mom was there with her. She was taking care of the kids. And I thought, what a cool thing, right? She could hire a nanny. She definitely has enough money to hire 4 different people to help her with her kids and not even, go grocery shopping on her own. So immediately I pulled out my phone, I made a note, and I sent a newsletter that evening to my email list talking about the importance of having a support system in your life, right? As an entrepreneur, as a business owner, and how a lot of times we think that people who are really busy, like celebrities, they have this, whole team of people who are totally paid to do the job. And that's often true, but what a cool, refreshing example of someone who's super busy and relies on family to be her support system. And that's what I'm talking about, is utilizing your daily experiences, the things that you interact with, the music that you listen to, the content that you even consume to help you spark new ideas. Getting inspired on purpose is so important. This is something that you should be training your mind to do automatically. So I'll give you another idea. Whenever I'm kind of in a rut, I don't feel like I'm very inspired, one of the easiest ways for me to come up with new content ideas is to literally go to the mall. I know this sounds crazy, but it's so true. I'll go to some of my favorite stores, maybe it's Sephora or Ulta or even Home Goods, and I'll start just browsing through the aisles and I'll start noticing little cues that'll inspire me. For example, I'll start looking at how they stock specific aisles and what their pricing strategy is, and that'll inspire new content ideas and new training for the Business Lounge for my members. I'll literally go around with my little camera, start shooting some pictures or taking some video of, hey, I got this awesome new idea. I noticed that this retailer was doing this cool thing, deploying this cool business strategy, and you can totally do it for your own business. So I want you to use your day-to-day activities, train your mind and your brain to leverage those into new and inspiring content ideas. And literally, this is a foolproof way of coming out with unique, authentic, and completely different content than anybody else on the internet, because no one else has your own experiences, no one's living your life, and no one interprets the same cues the way that you do. And last but not least, tip number 3 is to make it relevant, right? It's one thing to get inspired by really cool things that are happening in your environment and writing about it, but it's a whole nother game to know how to tie that back to your own brand story, your own theme, your industry, and the audience that you serve. Now, before you start whining and complaining and telling me like, Kim, that's awesome for you, you're super creative, that's not the case. I don't think I'm like the most creative person ever at all. In fact, when I was younger, I really started to realize that creativity was something I could work at. Later on, as I started this business, I started doing a bunch of research inside one of my programs called Zero to Branding, all about being creative with your graphic design. And I started looking into the research, and there's so much research that states that creativity can be learned. It is a skill, it's a muscle that you actually can improve on. So before you worry about how you're going to tie in your everyday cues with your story or with your topic, remember this. Creativity can be learned. It means that you have to put it into practice and experiment with new and different angles that can tie back to your own brand and your own story. Start with something simple, right? Maybe if you're a fitness trainer, go to your local grocery store and look up some ideas that maybe could spark some inspiration, right, for that specific type of content. Get close, right? Put yourself in an environment that's going to inspire that specific type of idea, right? So if you're a trainer, simple tie-in, food and nutrition, go to the grocery store and see what you can think of, see what you can come up with. Maybe it's a review of the best yogurts, or how to eat keto on a budget, or how to leverage coupons to save on your grocery bill and have no excuses on eating clean. As you get good at reading these cues from your environment, then you're going to start noticing new and cool, cues that come up as you're doing daily things like driving down the road or having a conversation conversation with a friend. Don't be afraid to experiment. Remember, it's all about training your mind to constantly be adapting to those cues, and of course, make sure that you keep note of these. I think that having it handy on your phone is a great idea, because as you're on the go and you get all these content ideas, you can either create a voice note or type a quick idea in your phone and then create that content later. All right, so I hope that you found this helpful. These are 3 very unique ways of never running out of content ideas. Don't forget to watch episode number 2 on this topic, where we're gonna get even more practical. We're gonna talk about my favorite tools and how you can leverage them to come up with even more ideas. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget that you are part of this conversation. Let me know in the comment section below, what is your number 1 strategy to never running out of fresh content ideas? I'd love to hear your insight. You know, I don't pretend to know everything about everything when it comes to content and marketing, so I'd love to hear from you. I know it also serves a lot of our community members as well, so make sure to leave a comment below. If you want even more tips and resources, don't forget to check out the accompanying blog post for this episode, where we're constantly linking to downloadable resources and extra tips that can help you go even further when it comes to creating amazing content that gets your brand discovered. I love you. Un beso. Ciao, and I'll see you in the next episode.
I feel the warmth of your skin. I feel the touch of your hand.